let me tell you a story, a real one. The kind that stays with you long after the words fade. It's about a chef I once knew, Arif. A quiet man, a man of flavors and memories. Someone who understood food the way others understand music. You know how some people cook with their hands, but others cook with their heart. Arif was the second kind, and everything he knew, every dish, every secret blend of spices, every childhood flavor was written in one old notebook, his mother's notebook, the burnt recipe book. Arif grew up in a tiny kitchen that always smelled like warm turmeric and fried onions. His mother was the kind of woman who spoke softly but cooked loudly. Her food carried emotion, love, scolding, comfort, everything. I remember him telling me how she used to tap his head with a wooden spoon when he tried to steal fried eggplants off the plate. Arif, Rana shudhu, hot dai hoina, she'd say. Cooking isn't done with hands alone, it needs memory. And he'd laugh, rubbing his head, memorizing her exact movements without even realizing. When she passed away, the only thing she left behind for him besides a homeful of her scent was that recipe book. The cover was torn, stained with oil, pages sticking together, but Arif held it like a treasure, like a piece of her that refused to leave. Every night, long after the restaurant lights dimmed and everyone went home, he'd run his fingers over the handwriting. Ma, you had such tiny writing, he would whisper, and in the quiet of those nights, it felt like she whispered back. But life has its way of testing us. One night, after a long, exhausting shift, Arif forgot to turn off the stove properly. He stepped outside to breathe, and by the time he smelled it, the faint burning, the sharp sting of smoke, it was too late. Flames danced through the kitchen, greedy and wild. The crackling sound was horrifying. Like something alive, the wooden shelves sparked, the curtains curled into black flakes, and the recipe book lay on the counter, helpless. Arif ran inside, coughing, his eyes burning. He grabbed wet cloths, threw water, tried everything but. Fire is unforgiving. When he finally reached the counter, the book was already caught in the blaze, pages shrinking into ash. He held it, burning his fingertips, desperately patting the flames, but all that remained was a half-charred cover and black dust. The kitchen smelled of smoke, burnt spices, and heartbreak. He sank to the floor, clutching the remains, whispering, "Ma, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." 4 days, Arif couldn't cook. The kitchen felt like an empty shell. The knives felt heavier. The pots were silent. Every dish he tried tasted wrong, hollow, like something was missing. His staff whispered that he'd lost his touch, but it wasn't skill he lost the last physical piece of his mother, and without it, he felt like a child again, lost, afraid, uncertain. One night, long after midnight, he sat on the kitchen floor, staring at the burnt counter. The darkness was still, except for the hum of the refrigerator, and in that silent he saw soft, he almost thought he imagined he heard his mother's voice, not from the outside, but from inside him. "Arif," she said gently, "Tomar mate, everything is in your heart." He closed his eyes and let the memories wash over him, her tapping the spoon, her humming, her warm, patient smile. The next morning, he stood before the stove. No recipes, no notes, just memories. He took a deep breath and let instinct guide his hands. He added spices by smell, not measurement. He fried onions until they were the exact golden he remembered from childhood. He whispered to himself, Ma used to add a pinch more salt here. And did. And little by little, something magical happened. The kitchen came alive again. The smillet, felt like home returning. His staff watched in awe as Arif recreated dish after dish, not perfectly, no, but beautifully, with soul. Once he got frustrated, muttering, No, this isn't how she did it, and he almost gave up. But then he remembered her laugh, her scolding, her loving eyes. Try again, she would have said. So he did, again and again, like a child learning to walk. Finally, one evening, he tasted a curry rich, warm, Laodan tears filled his eyes. Not because of the spice, but because it tasted exactly like hers. Exactly. He placed the spoon down, wiped his eyes with the back of his wrist, and whispered, Ma primera found Italiano. I remembered. For the first time since the fire, he smiled small, trembling but real. And, there's something I learned from Arif's story. Something simple, but powerful. Love doesn't burn. Memory doesn't burn. Even when we lose everything physical, the things given from the heart remain inside us, waiting to be rediscovered. His mother wasn't in the pages, she was in the flavors, in his hands, in every warm breath of the kitchen. And in the end, the burnt recipe book didn't take her away. It just reminded him that she had always been inside him, teaching him, guiding him, loving him, long after the pages turned to ash.